today. How are you, Nola?
Fabulous. How are you? Hey, Randy and friends. Doesn't seem like just a year ago we were together doing this in person, right? It's great to
Oh, how
meet
we
you
wish we
all.
could be back to in person, Nola. It's so good to see you though.
Well, I'm just going to tell all y'all I'm coming in hot. I'm going to hug y'all. When I see you, it's going to be a joyous reunion. Thank y'all for having us. Keith, thanks so much for going to the trouble to put this together. Believe me, I know how hard it is to do this in a hurry, but what it looks like to just be a terrific opportunity for teachers. So they're really lucky to have the Zeswitz folks up there who are so dedicated to making things work well for teachers. And our hearts are very grateful this morning for our relationship with Zeswitz Music Company. Thank you.
Absolutely. We all know what a tough time we're going through at this moment. None more than in my own household, where my son found out he's getting ready to go into 8th grade. And he found out last week that they're going to start the year online for at least a month or so. The good thing is he's still able to have marching band rehearsals. So he has that to look forward to as they stay socially distanced, but doing well. All right, so we're going to talk about a lot of things today, but one of the things we're going to concentrate on is trying to share passion online as much as we would in the normal classroom. It is tough, as we all know, to do this online, but if you'll think back to why you're in music education, probably because at some point in your training, might have been in middle school band, middle school choir, orchestra, whatever it might have been, high school, there was a moment where you experienced goosebumps because of the music experience you were having at that time. And I really believe, and I know that Nola agrees, that one of our #1 tasks today is trying to create those same kind of goosebumps for our students. A little tougher to do online than it is when we're in front of them. But just a couple of reminders, and this is probably the first one. You know, when I was first teaching, I'm going to be honest with you, I was really into the group doing well. I was a little bit into trophies, those kind of things. But I've learned over the long haul what really matters. And that is teaching our kids to fall in love with music, or helping them, guiding them in the process to fall in love with music. And as we go through this session this morning, we're going to talk about the what and the how, and how we use the what and the how to help awaken that passion in our students. Nola, anything you want to add to that before we move on?
It's hard to add much to everything that you say, Richard, because you're so good. But I will add one thing. That comment that Keith read from Frank Zimmer right at the very beginning. If I've ever done anything right in my life, it was to hire Frank Zimmer and give him his first job in Nashville. He is a rock star, and he lives that thing that he talks about. And I'll tell you, he's no different from any person on this call today. He just happened to be the one to type that last night, because we're all feeling that same way, and that's what it's about. So hopefully at the end of this session, you'll be inspired to remember why you're here and what led you to this point to commit your life to this, because this is not a job. It's a way of life. And that's what we want to do. I put a note in the bottom. Feel free to start typing your questions in the chat as we go, because a lot of times your questions will spur us to take maybe a little bit different direction. But we want to hear from you, and we want to make sure that whatever happens in this next little bit of time we have together, that you get what you need. It's not about getting to the end of the PowerPoint. I hope that was okay, Richard.
That was wonderful.
Yeah.
And let me help you just a little bit with the chat, folks. If you are willing to do so, Nola and I would love it if you would take a second to, in the chat, write down the name of a teacher, or if you're not comfortable with a name, you can just say my high school band director, choral director, whatever. But write down the name of someone who changed your life because you had them as a music teacher. And we're going to talk about some of ours in a few minutes, people that changed Nola and I's lives. But take a second in the chat and Nola, if you wouldn't mind kind of looking over those and helping us as those folks mention those in the chat. For some of you, it may be just as hard as it is for me to talk about some of these people. I find myself getting very emotional because I think back to what they meant to my life. So thanks for taking a couple seconds to do that in the chat.
Gosh, they're flying, Richard. I don't know if you can see them, but they're not afraid at all to put in that no encouragement. They're going. And what's so cool to see is that many of us are so connected in terms of our lineage. You know, we're 3 degrees of separation from each other anyway. And some of these names flying past are like, yeah, that person influenced me too. And then you see, yeah, and this person studied with that person. So no wonder. It all makes sense. So to see these great teachers right there just gives me goosebumps. I've already had my goosebumps, y'all, for today.
There you go.
Thank you
there
for
you
that.
Go. Yeah, and you're seeing some names up on the screen right now that we're going to talk about. Speaking of goosebump peoples, we all know Frank DeKelly, or we've seen him, or we've played his works, or we certainly know of him, one of the finest band composers in the world. You think back to the wonderful pieces, Blue Shades, Angels in the Architecture, so many incredible pieces. But what you may not know about Frank is that he is absolutely amazing on the podium. There's not a moment that goes by that he's not showing gestures and expressions. I mean, every second that he's on the podium. I was fortunate enough to be a part of Music for All Summer Symposium a couple of years ago, and he was our composer in resident. And he was working with the director's band that I do, and he was just fantastic. And I asked him, I said, Frank, how do you constantly keep that emotion going from the podium? And he just looked at me like I was silly or strange or something. He said, first of all, he goes, you got to feel that way when you're conducting music. And he said, if we don't show that to our students, how are they going to know what we expect from them? And I'll tell you, just watching him conduct gave me all kinds of goosebumps. You all know Dr. Tim Lotzenheiser. He's a mentor for all of us. The thing that I just am totally amazed with when it comes to Tim, he can take the most negative situation and somehow turn it into a positive. I mean, he will not allow negative to sneak into the equation. And I've also learned so much about just staying positive, believing, not letting anything but smiles be on students' faces. And obviously, like all of you, he's been a huge mentor for me. I'm hoping that this next name, some of you know, and I think there's really not supposed to be an S there, but it's Benjamin Zander. And if you've seen any of Ben's videos, they are amazing. And we'll talk a little bit more about those later, but check out some of Ben's videos. And then you probably all have heard of this next person, Ray Kramer. I was fortunate enough to go to Indiana University, and so Ray was my conductor down there numerous times when I was IU. And there's not a kinder, more gentle man in the world, but there is also not a tougher or more demanding man in the world. He's forgotten more, I think, than most of us will ever learn about being in front of bands.
Can I jump in on that real quick, Richard?
Yeah, go, Nola.
So you may not even know this, but we've been doing a series of backstage interviews to inspire our colleagues. And there might or might not be one that's going to come out with Ray Kramer in the next week. And he starts out with, don't worry about the music right now, worry about taking care of the students, and then you'll be able to take care of the music. That's his first. He will say it much more eloquently and articulately. But when you get a chance to see, it's not out yet, but be watching for that next week, because that might be a lift that you'll get. For one of the best honor bands that I was ever in as a student that inspired me, my little high school band had 30 people in it. So when I got to go to an honor band and play with the full instrumentation and play grade 6 music, it was a big deal. And Ray Kramer was one of the first of the really good guys who realized that you could be really nice and have really high expectations and love students, you know, without it being with no fear. and that no fear thing, I think, is really important. It's hard to have goosebumps if your limbic system is, if you have fear in the way, you know.
Yep. And speaking of fear, I did a session at Colorado Music Educators last year. I was getting ready to start my clinic, and guess who walked in the back door? Was Ray Kramer. I thought I was going to throw up right there on stage. And man, you talk about someone I respect. It's just amazing. The next person you guys have probably never heard of, my high school band director. Don Hoppin wrote all our music at Anderson High School for marching band, for a pep band. I thought that was amazing. So I wanted to learn. So I would chase him around like a puppy dog. And finally, he sat me down with a score, and he said, he knew I studied piano, but he said, "What do you know about the instruments?" And I said, "Well, not very much, Mr. Hoppin." And he goes, "Oh, that's right. You're a percussionist." And I can make that joke because I'm a percussionist as well. But anyway, he went through the score and he started to teach me how to write. And I owe that guy a lot. And it's hard not to get emotional when I talk about him because he's the reason I'm sitting here right now. I actually was able to write a piece for our marching band in my senior year of high school. I'll never forget it. It's a terrible arrangement of the Chicago piece, 25 to 6 or 4, probably the worst arrangement you've ever heard in your life, but it didn't matter because I was learning that I was going to love writing music. The reason I have Dr. Jones down here at the bottom is because she influenced my life tremendously as a judge. When I was starting out at Carmel High School, she was the most incredible judge for us at Bands of America events. And she had the nicest way of telling you that you weren't very good, you know, and she was just wonderful. And you would just fall in love with her. And then you'd think, oh, you think back to what she's saying and you learned so much, but she said it in such a positive way. And that's why I put her on here. So Nola, there's never enough times I can say thank you for all of that. Okay.
You're on mute is the new reply all, y'all, just so you know. Richard, I don't think I ever told the Carmel band they were not very good. I may have been able to find one or two things they could work on, but I'm pretty sure I never said they weren't very good.
I just know our students always wanted to know if Miss Jones was judging when we go to a competition. You talk about it having an effect on people, man. Okay, so now we're going to switch gears a little bit. We're going to show you 2 quick videos. The first one, we're going to talk about a passionate performance, since we're talking about passion today. And the second one, we're going to talk about a passionate teacher. The first one you've probably seen, or at least heard of. It's from the musical Wicked by Stephen Schwartz. And this is the final scene before intermission called Defying Gravity. And I'm not sure there is a better combination of blocking, staging, music, lyrics, performance to create goosebumps than this. So give me just a second here.
Richard, do you have it playing?
We're not seeing anything. Richard, do you have it playing?
Don't be afraid.
I'm not. It's the wizard who should be afraid of me. Something has changed within me. Something is not the same. I'm through with playing by the rules of someone else's game. Too late for second guessing. Too late to go back to sleep. It's time to trust my instincts. Close my eyes and sleep. It's time to try defying gravity. I think I'll try defying gravity, and you can't pull me down. Quick, get on.
What?
Come with me. Think of what we could do together. Unlimited. Together we're unlimited. Together we'll be the greatest team there's ever been. Glitter our dreams the way we planned them. If we work in tandem, there's no fight we cannot win. Just you and I defying gravity. With you and I defying gravity. They'll never bring us down. Well, are you coming?
Sophie, you're trembling. I hope you're happy. Now that you're choosing this.
You too. I hope it brings you bliss.
I really hope you get it.
And you don't live to regret it. I hope you're happy in the end. I hope you're happy, my friend.
Don't let her get away!
Wait, what are you doing? Let go of me, do you hear?
It's not her. She has nothing to do with it. I'm the one you want. It's me.
Sophie!
It's me. So if you care to find me, look to the western sky. As someone told me lately, everyone deserves a chance to fly. And if I'm flying solo, at least I'm flying free. To those who ground me, take a message back from me. Tell them how I am defying gravity. I'm flying high, defying gravity. And soon I'll match them in renown. And nobody in all of Oz, no wizard that there is or was, is ever gonna bring me
So people were talking about goosebumps already, I saw in the chat. And that happens even after watching it so many times. I still get it after watching it so many times. The next one that I'd like to show, and thanks to Elisa for helping us get that video up. The next one we'd like to show is a video that if you're even close to my age, which means you're really old, if you think back to a movie called The Karate Kid, there's a situation where Mr. Miyagi, who is the karate teacher, agrees to teach Danielson, who is the student, karate. But he tells Danielson that he cannot question his methods. Now, to all of us that spend so much time trying to spend or get our students to understand how important fundamentals are, and usually there's a moment a light bulb moment where it goes off in our students' heads where they realize that, you know, all these boring things that we were doing all of a sudden are paying off. Now, I was talking earlier about the what and the how. The video saw the example of the what, which is an incredible piece of music and orchestration, incredible blocking, staging, overall general effect ideas, and the how, which is an amazing performance by all the performers involved. So a lot of times to get to that level, we have to focus on fundamentals, even when we're thinking about goosebumps, because if we're going to create goosebumps, we have to get our kids to a level where they can perform with great music, the what, and hopefully create those goosebump moments that are going to keep them in music forever. So at least I'm going to try this again, and hopefully it will work. And
There are a few swear words right at the beginning.
yeah, sorry about that.
Just be warned. It's okay.
1980.
Can we hear the sound?
Everybody hear it?
Thumbs up. Can't hear the sound.
Can't hear it?
We can't. Do you want me to push play on it?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to try this again. For some reason, I'm having a tough time hearing sound.
Don't worry, Richard. It just proves to teachers that we understand what they go through with technology every day.
Absolutely.
Oh, Miss Spot. What spot?
Can everybody hear it?
You didn't tell me you were going fishing.
You're not here when I go.
Well, maybe I wouldn't want her to go. You ever think of that?
You're karate training.
I'm what? I'm being your goddamn slave is what I'm being, man. Now, we made a deal here.
So?
So you're supposed to teach and I'm supposed to learn, remember? For 4 days, I've been busting my ass. I haven't learned a goddamn thing.
You learn plenty.
I learned plenty. I learned how to sand your decks, maybe. I wax your car, paint your house, paint your fence. I learned plenty, right?
Not everything is as simple.
Oh, bullshit. I'm going home, man.
Daniel-san! Daniel-san!
What?
Come here. Show me sand the floor.
I can't move my arm, all right? What are you doing? What are you... Ow! Ow, what are you doing?
Now show me sand the floor.
How did you do that?
Shut up!
Sand the floor.
Hey, stand up. Show me sand the floor. Sand the floor. Sand the floor. Big sucker, sand the floor. Sand the floor. Yes. Now show me wax on, wax off. Hey.
Wax on, wax off.
Wax on, wax off. Hey, wax on, hot. Wax off, hot. Concentrate. Look at my eye. Lock a hand. Thumb inside. Wax on, hot. Wax off, hot. Wax on, hot. Wax off, hot. Wax on. Wax off. Show me penta fence. Up, down. Up, down. Up, down. Other side. Look eye. Always look eye. Show me paint the house. Side, side. backwrist, side, 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 side. Yes. Show me wax on, wax off. That! 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 Show me paint the fence. That! Face! That! That! Show me side to side. Yes! That! 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 Show me sand or floor. Hat! Face! 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 Yes! That! That! Oi. Hey, look, I always look, I. Come back tomorrow.
Look at that look in the face. So that's the look we're after, obviously, with our students. Get back to the PowerPoint here. Okay, so in that situation, I look at the fundamentals that he was working with, kind of like our F concert. If you're a band instructor, you know, that wax on, wax off is kind of like our F concert. You know, they have to be able to do that well before they can get to the other level. So it's so important for us to convince our students that these fundamentals are critical to their success. So we have to sell it. It's tough to do, but we have to, especially online, we have to remind them that these minute details, things that they may think are boring, are going to be so important to their success down the line.
Well, and you know, the thing about it is now's the time to really be able to dig into those fundamentals, because you can reach them individually in a way that you can't when there are 100 in the classroom, and you can set those assessments up in a way that they really have the opportunity to do that. Jarrett Lippman at Claudia Taylor Johnson said to me the first week, he said, yeah, we may not be in a room playing together, but when we're back in the room, the band is going to be better than it's ever been, because the individual players, that's what we're going to focus on this time. And what I'll tell you about Richard and his commitment to this, he's not just talking to you about the importance of fundamentals. If you go to the first day of his band rehearsal, the very first day, that's what they start with. They never waver from that. I was in the warm-up area at Grand National Finals, and he's standing there on a ladder, and the band's in a focused arc. There's absolute chaos all over this whole hall of box and metronomes and people yelling and flags and all this stuff. And the Carmel band is playing concert F, mezzo forte over and over and over. But what nobody's figured out is that his back is to a dumpster that smells like something has been dead in it for a week. And they're still just as focused on that concert F that they started in May, because that's the tenet that he really believes, a wax on, wax off, baby.
I can't believe you still remember all that.
I will never forget it. That was my aha moment, Mr. Miyagi.
It's so important, and we all know that, but it's so easy for us to get away from it. And I keep talking about this what and the how, but the what is, of course, whatever we put in front of our kids. Could be an exercise, could be a piece of music. The how is the method that we use to teach them to perform at a level where they'll eventually be able to stir their soul a little bit while listening to music, whether it's melody, lyrics, chords, harmony, repetitive rhythm. Think about the video we saw from Wicked. All those things are involved, the what and the how. Okay, so in each rehearsal, whether with beginners or advanced performers, we deal with the what and the how. Anything we put in front of our students is considered the what, which I just said. And then we are building the how when we help students develop performance skills. Now, I know we're talking about Goosebumps today, but But let me remind all of you something that I have to remind myself, even when I'm out working with all-state bands or honor bands. You can't skip steps. You've got to make sure that when you're developing the how in these students, you take the time to do what they need at it and not skip any of those steps. Because the minute we start skipping steps, the chances of those experiencing those goosebumps goes away pretty quickly. The combination of a great what and a great how sets up the perfect environment for goosebumps to take place. Both the what and the how are essential if passion in performance is to be realized. Now, I know we're getting close to time here, so I'm going to push through, but I want you to think about this. And Nola, don't hesitate to jump in here. A beautiful piece of music, which we'll call the what, won't always produce an emotional response if there are noticeable distractions. And usually when there are distractions in a performance, somewhere along the line, the instructor, the teachers, whatever, even the students have skipped some steps. Conversely, a great performer or performers displaying the how, they may not be able to get a piece of music, the what, to an emotional level if it's not written appropriately and scored correctly. So even with our beginners, folks, what we put in front of them is critical. And I will tell you, as a composer for Hal Leonard, we are working our tails off to try to come up with the best music possible in grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, but whatever publisher you work through, whatever composer you use, make sure that you're putting the best possible literature in front of your students. Nola, anything on that?
Exactly. It's going to be okay. I was just typing to somebody that wrote about beginners. We may be teaching up on my housetop in April or May, and that's okay if we just don't stray from the basic tenets of not skipping steps ever. You don't have to teach to the clock anymore. Up in the housetop that you used to have to be in December, not anymore. The perfect opportunity.
Think of all those times, guys, that we've been in the middle of a great lesson with our bands or with our students, and then all of a sudden we look at the clock and we go, uh-oh, out of time. That's the first chance where we'll tend to skip a step. So like Nola was just saying, let's stop teaching to the clock, especially since we have this special situation. There are some real positives, that can come out of all this. Okay, so we don't have to worry about the clock. Let's really get in there and make sure that those kids that at home that are starting on their instruments or whatever they're starting on are going in a nice steady progress where they can start to sound better and better and better. And we can get more smiles on their faces and more goosebumps on their bodies and goosebumps from their parents. Students have to witness passion in others as part of their own development as passionate musicians. How as teachers can we help with this? Well, just listening to Nola Jones today, guys, how can you not be passionate? Anytime I listen to Nola do any kind of presentation, I get goosebumps just because of her passion, the way she tells the stories, the way that she talks about music education. You can't help but be inspired. So as teachers, especially since we're online right now, we have to be inspired. It may sound silly, but we have to look into that screen at our students and somehow we have to connect. And it may not be just talking about what we're working on. We have to keep encouraging them and showing them what this will lead to. That's why the videos like Wicked, any other performance videos are great for kids. I mean, my son is only 13, okay, but I can still show him a video of the Blue Devils drum line and he goes berserk. So the age is not that important. We can give them goosebumps, even if they're not ready to perform it themselves. Now, we were talking just a little bit ago about Benjamin Zander. The video I'd like to kind of point you towards, if you haven't seen it, is the transformative power of classical music. It's a TED Talk. And it is about classical music. But if you'll watch this 20-minute video, it will change the way you think about teaching. I know it did me. It's probably as good a video as you can watch as a music teacher, especially right now. And if you look, Nola, can you talk just a second about the book that he's just put out as well?
Yeah, well, the one that really resonated with me is the one that's Art of Possibility. If you haven't read it, it's only about this thick, and he talks about everyone gets an A, and one of the things he does is you have to write a letter about why you got the A, looking back. And so just teaching with a different philosophy that you're going to assume the best from every student and creating those shining eyes in rehearsal. His wife is a psychologist, so together they've written this book. Rosamund Zander is her name. If it's not on your nightstand, it might be something that would, I'll tell you, in the past 4 months, I've reread that book probably 5 times.
I'm right with you.
Seriously.
Right with you.
Yeah.
Yep.
And shining eyes
wonderful.
he talks about. You know how when you look at your kids and their eyes are shining, you know. And you can see it in video too.
And that's the tough thing. And that's where we're going to leave you today, guys, is with this challenge. Instead of thinking about grades, instead of thinking about performance, next time you're in front of your kids, see how many of their eyes are shining as they're looking at you. And then we have to ask ourselves, and this is from Ben Zander, who am I as a teacher if my students' eyes aren't shining? So he's talking about making the ultimate connection with your students. It's so easy for us to be up there waving the stick, okay, stopping, making comments, etc. But how many times do we actually look in our students' eyes to see if they're shining back at us, to see if they're with us, to see if they're emotionally with us, to see if they're getting those goosebumps? So, so important. Nola, want to help me end this? Any final thoughts?
Well, I don't want to let the cat out of the bag because we don't even have the cat in the bag to let it out. But I will tell you that Consumer is committed to helping you create those shining eyes. The Division of Education is. And hypothetically speaking, if said company was working on a project of virtual supports, possibly some lesson plans and unit plans for you all to convene a group of people to help put that together, is that something you would find helpful? What we're hoping to do is to provide a series of lessons that you could plug into your classrooms that might get you over the hump. There you go. See, read that right now, because there's my data, Richard, when I go to pitch this. Yeah. So the idea is save a Saturday in late September, because we think we're going to have something for you that's going to help you defy gravity. And maybe we'll title this whole project Defying Gravity, Richard.
I like it. I like it.
But we love you, and we know, I'll just tell you, I'm really thankful. I don't know if I could do this right now personally, but I'm committed, and I'm grateful to every teacher and the Frank Zimmers who are doing this work. We're here for you. We want to help you do this. You've got this. You have the neuroplasticity, you have the passion, you have the creativity. You can do this. And I know it's easy for me to say, but across the country, that's what teachers are doing. And their eyes are going to be shining. And who cares if they don't play Up on the Housetop or the Persichetti Symphony in December? Stop teaching to the clock and take care of the kids and take care of yourselves, and the rest of it will fall in place. The what will not change. The music never changes. What about it, Richard?
We're so happy to be a part of this today. And just like Nola said, we love you all. We're with you. Please don't ever feel like you have to do this by yourself, especially you young teachers. Ask for help. Look around you right now. I'm sure there are people on this video, on this call, that are so experienced and would love to help. Don't do this on your own, especially now. Thank you to Zeswitz Music and to everyone that's made this wonderful, to Elisa for helping this all happen online. And thank you so much for letting us be a part of your morning. Love you to death, Nola. Thank you.
Love you too, Richard. Thank you. And the last thing I would share is young teachers help the veteran teachers with the technology. Veteran teachers help the younger teachers with the what.
There
And
we
lean
go.
into each other because we have the best community of people. If every profession had this responsibility, if each other that we do in our profession, the world would be a better place. And you've got this. Thank
We
you,
totally
Richard.
have it.
Thank you,
Yep.
Keith. Thank you, Randy.
Thank
Let
you,
us
Nola.
know if we
Thank
could
you,
do
Nola.
anything.
Thank you, Nola. Thank you, Richard. Thank you, Elisa. Your lifesaver. And what a way to start our symposium this week. You guys are the best. Thank you for making this happen. All right, we are now going to break out into our breakout sessions. I had just put in the chat the link just in case you need it again. Do you know? So you know what group you're in? Here it is one more time. Breakout groups. Also the guiding questions for you. And I'm going to open up the breakout rooms in a second here. Where are my breakout rooms? There we go. Trying to figure out why it won't let me to open up the rooms. Bear with me.
Hey Keith, while you're doing that, would now maybe be a good time for a bio break for a Zoom meeting? You know, now in the new normal, I feel like we need to give folks, you know, maybe just a couple of minutes to get away from the screen. Would this be a good time while you're this
Sure.
breakup groups for
Sure.
folks to just take 5 minutes and then maybe
Sure.
reconvene at 11:10?
Thank you very much, Randy. Elisa, since are you still on?
Yes.
Any chance you could help me with this? All my breakout rooms I had originally pre-assigned, and then I made it manual, and it just made 45 breakout rooms.
Can you initiate them?
It doesn't allow me. That button's just grayed out.
That is a great question. I don't have those same controls.
If I make you a host, does that give you the controls? Let me see.
It might. It's worth a try.
Let me change the host. I was trying to delete some of those rooms. It went up to 40 rooms.
Oh, well, there's your problem. You can't change things last minute. Joyce is wondering, if you create the rooms, can we pick them from the list since we know which ones we should go to?
That was the idea.
Yeah.
They pick their own room.
That sounds good.
Can delete all the rooms, and we need 16. Best laid plans.
That always happens. It's all right. Music teachers are adaptable. Oh, I see. Okay. It allows me to assign them, but it doesn't allow me to just initiate them all. Allow participants to return to the main session. Breakout. How long do you want the breakout rooms to go for?
45 minutes.
It does give the option to recover the pre-assigned rooms. Do you want to try that?
Sure.
Okay.
Well, they weren't assigned because I had close to 300 people, and the program would only let me pre-assign 200. I didn't go with that. I didn't go with that. That upload option.
How dare it? Yeah, it's still grayed out for me too. It looks like we'd have to assign people. Ooh, if we raise our hand, would the rooms need to be active when the call was started? Yeah, I was going to say just start a new room, like close out this meeting and then open a new meeting with the rooms enabled.
What, and set up 16 new rooms?
It's the whole turn it off and back on again thing. Oh, you guys have such great ideas. I love it. Yeah, because Mike is wondering, would the rooms need to be active when the call was started? It shouldn't have had to be active.
Right.
Zoom meeting code password, would it be the same? Yeah, so Megan, it's all the same Zoom meeting. We can just start assigning people to rooms and try that.
And how would start that?
You just click on assign, and then that does enable each room to be opened. Maybe you just have to have one person assigned. And forgive me, I'm not as adept at this as other programs. Let me try something. I'm impressed you trust me with this. Here we go. Did that work? Are you guys able to open up? Everyone changed their Zoom name to first name and room number. All right, so the rooms are open now.
How do I see? I don't see where the rooms are open.
But they're all unassigned. If you click on your breakout rooms.
Does anybody see a breakout room? I don't see a. Wait, we don't see a breakout room.
Let me show you what I'm seeing.
We just can't go through 170 people and manually assign them.
Yeah, so this says they're unassigned. We could probably, I don't mind doing that, assigning people to breakout rooms. Well, because they're going to be in different, talking about different things, right?
Yeah, they're at different levels, elementary, middle, high school.
The host will have to assign everyone to a breakout room. You have to go into each room and assign each person manually. You guys are so good. It's pretty speedy to assign if you put your number first on the rename category. Some people can't change their names. So in other words, we would have to...
Elisa, if each person started typing their name in the chat, starting with their room number,
assign them?
Would you just be able to click on their name and assign? Like in the chat, 9, Adam, 15.
Well, let's give it a try here. Oh, assigned rooms. All right, so we've got Bob, and we've got Susie. Oh, nice. That is handy.
Does that work?
Those who change their name to their room assignment number, that goes.
Oh, that'll work, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so everybody
Room name.
rename yourself your room number for a moment.
Yeah, if everybody puts at the beginning of their name their room number, we'll get everybody assigned here in the next 3 minutes or so, and
Yeah.
we'll be able to start the rooms here momentarily. And maybe quarter after the hour. So
And those who can't change their name, we can sort out at the end.
yeah.
Just in case you don't know how to do that, just click on your 3 dots in the upper right-hand corner of your picture.
Oh, oops.
4th one down says rename.
That's amazing.
Is that Jay? Thank you, Elisa. I owe you a beer.
Sounds good.
Hey, Keith, while this is happening, do you want to maybe just say a few words about what's going to happen over the next few days, the program for the rest of the agenda for the rest of the sessions?
Yeah, it was sent out to everybody as well, and you have a link to it. We have a few more guest speakers tomorrow morning, and we'll break out, hopefully for a little bit longer time the next couple days. If while we're waiting, you could take a look at some of those questions that I sent. If you click on that link to the guiding questions, it might help you to get your conversation started as soon as you get in your rooms. Are there any questions at the moment while we're kind of waiting? So she has to, I guess, do everybody here before she can populate the room. So we're waiting for this to. I should also mention, in terms of just the organization of your, 15 or 20 people in a room. If you have trouble getting a word in edgewise, use the raise hand or thumbs up symbol so that people know that you want to contribute thoughts. That would be great. Don't forget to have somebody filling out the tab in the collaborative spreadsheet. Somebody did say that we didn't have enough folders to start, but I've added them. So now there should be 16 group folders in the Google Drive. Somebody said the spreadsheet was not editable. Let me just check that.
Also, Keith, the questions, the guiding questions, are those week long or just today?
Yeah, no, they're for the. Thanks, Karen. They're for the 4 days. Guide your discussions over.
Okay, I didn't know if there was a new list tomorrow and we were trying to. Thanks.
Yeah, you might only get to a couple of those. Good to see you, Cabin.
Good to see you.
If I accidentally click the wrong thing, I hope people will be very forgiving and patient.
That's a really good point. Yeah, folks, if you end up somehow in the wrong Zoom breakout room, you've got Keith's email. You can reply back to Keith and we can get that fixed up for you.
I think they can come back into the main room, can't they? Or if you have to log off and just log back onto the meeting, I think it'll put you in the main room, and we can put you in there. Thank you for being patient, everybody. Okay, I've made what I didn't have everybody as the editor, so the spreadsheet now should make everybody with the link an editor. So let me know if that worked. Somebody give me a thumbs up if you. Good. Spreadsheet works now. Good. Somebody said the spreadsheet didn't work for them. Maybe try closing it and reopening it.
Hey Keith, I'm sorry. I literally just got in here. I was in a union meeting for my school, so I do apologize for my tardiness. I just want to make sure I'm in the correct group. I'm supposed to be in group 10.
Ed, it's good to see you. One of my old former students.
Yeah, how are you?
Good. We're
It's
still
weird
trying.
calling you Keith and not Mr. Hodson still.
We've been having a problem assigning everybody to the rooms, but Elisa is working on that, and hopefully in a moment we'll do the breakouts. We're just getting ready to start that. But thanks for joining us. And we'll see about maybe having that recording available of Nola and Richard this morning for you to see.
Great.
Keith, just an idea on this spreadsheet. Can we, since there's so much traffic, it's really hard when there's a spreadsheet with hundreds of people accessing it at once. Could we copy our particular page and create a new spreadsheet in our group folder, and then that be compiled later to the full 16 groups?
Yeah, you can do that on your own, right?
Yeah, we can do that on our own.
I think if we maybe if every group had just one person that was typing in, so there would only be 16 people that would be accessing each different tab. Maybe that would work. But if you find it lagging and you want to do what I guess it's Megan just suggested, you certainly could open up a new spreadsheet and do it. Maybe you could copy and paste your sheet then back in the tab before we finish this evening or this morning.
Yeah, I went into the group 10 folder and it can't be edited. So I think our individual group folders, we don't have edit access either.
Okay, I'll take care of that right now. Probably the same issue. Did that fix it, Megan?
Yes, that fixed it.
Great. Any other bright ideas? Jerry Wells, good to see you.
It's good to see you too, Keith. Sorry, couldn't find the unmute.
Well, looks like we're getting very close here. A huge thank you, Lisa, from the assistance, and we can all promise that this will be much smoother on future days of the workshop this week. Glad we got this all fixed up, I think, and almost ready to go.
All right, I think that everybody who has a number on their name has been assigned to their appropriate room. So there are a few who are going to get put in a room, but it might not be the right room. So those people can come right back and tell us what room they need to be in, and we can reassign them. Does that sound okay?
Yeah, let's try it.
All right, here we go.
I got put in a room. I didn't think I was going to get put in a room. Well, I'm going to, hi everybody. I'm going to figure out how to leave. All right, I'm going to leave the room. I may come back and visit. You guys can all unmute and talk.
I don't have a number near my, I'm supposed to be in group 10.
Mr. Balsam?
Yes, sorry, my school account.
That's okay. You're in 10? Okay.
You are a lifesaver.
Thank you. I'm glad that I'm able to help out.
I got to figure out how I'm going to do this tomorrow then.
You'll figure it out. I always find if I can get in and test some things ahead of time, that works really well.
Hello.
Hi, Laura.
Hi. I got put in the wrong group.
Okay, what group are you in?
16.
Okay.
Is that where you're supposed to be?
Yes.
For those that are not in a room yet, if you could put your group number in front of your name, could you rename yourself so we know what room to put you in?
Totally forgot I was still screen sharing. Sorry.
I'm unable to rename myself.
If you click in the three dots in the upper right-hand corner of your picture, it says
I don't have the option.
Oh.
Yeah, sometimes schools have it set up so they can't.
Okay, David, what room are you supposed to be in?
13, please.
13 for David.
I have the same problem, and I'm supposed to be in 15.
I'm sorry, say again, Josh, what room?
In 15, please. Thank you.
What room were you in?
10.
Okay. So, David Ratner, you wanted to be where?
No, Schmidt.
Oh, David Schmidt.
In room 13, please.
Done. And who else?
Thank you.
I'm Karen. I got put in 4, but I should be in 12.
Karen. There you are. Thank you. And Laura, can you tell me again where you are and where you're supposed to be? Hang on, you're muted.
You're muted, Laura.
Oh, sorry. 16.
And what room were you in?
I was in 14.
Thank you. All right, that's done.
Hey.
I'm Joanne Bear. I was in 2. I need to be in 4.
Perfect. Done.
I am Sybil Vernon. I need to be in 14. I was in 2.
Done. And Keith, do you see how I'm doing this?
No, because I don't have the controls. Once I made you the host, I didn't see any of it.
No, so I need to make you the host so you can see how to do this.
Well, let's put everybody in their room, and then you and I could do that.
Okay. All right. David Schmidt. I did move you guys, right?
No.
I got moved and I got kicked out of the Zoom meeting, so I apologize. I had to get back in. I'm in room 1.
Okay.
I have to rename my.
Breakout rooms. Room 1. Regina Bowers. Hey, Regina, what room were you in?
I don't see a Regina on here.
She's Bowers family.
Oh. You're muted.
Oh, wait. I found you.
I was in 13.
Okay, thank you. And you want to be in
1? Is it
Yes,
1?
please.
Got you. Okay. Is it not giving you, Dave and Joanne, is it not giving you like a notification to join the room?
Where would I see the notification?
Usually just flashes up on the screen.
No, I haven't seen anything.
No,
I'm
it
on an
hasn't done.
iPad, so I don't know if that matters.
Or at the bottom of your screen, you'll see a button that says breakout rooms. And do you see next to record, share screen, chat, participants?
I think that's only for the person hosting the meeting.
I'm not a host, I don't think. I don't know.
Join breakout room. It's there under more.
There you go.
There you go. You've been.
Yep, I got it. Thank you.
All right. See ya.
Bye.
I don't see it.
Dave, you're on an iPad?
Yes.
Let me see if I can find it for you. Hold on one sec.
Valerie, did you get put in the wrong?
I see it. It's on the left-hand side.
I looked at the first document, and I'm actually supposed to be in group 16, not 15. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right, you're good?
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. And Vincent, where did you want to be?
Should be elementary band and strings.
What room number? What group number?
I think it's 1.
Okay. And did you just log in or were you, oh wait, there you are.
I was in, but I think I was in middle school.
All right, you've been assigned.
Okay, thank you.
You bet. Who else needs a room assignment?
Okay, Elisa?
Yes.
I was in 5 and my internet for the second time this morning shut down and kicked me out. So now I don't know how to get back in again. I'm at my son's and I don't understand. I don't know how any of it works anyway, but I'm not used to his internet. But anyway, I was in 5.
All right, I'll put you back in there, Catherine.
Thank you.
You bet.
Hi, this is Josh again. Somehow I ended up in 1.
Where do you need to
I
be?
need to be in 15, please.
Josh was in 1 and needs to go to 15. There you go.
Yeah, I put in the wrong number. I was supposed to be in 2, but I put in 3. So I need to be switched. Sorry.
That's not a problem. There you go.
Same with me. I was in 6 and I need to be in 8, high school band.
Done.
I was in the correct room and just lost internet.
What room?
So I just need to go back. Room 10.
And there you go. All right, now I know my learning curve on this. Woohoo!
Paul and Jose, do you guys, can you join your room?
I'm just, I was supposed to be in room 2, but so I'm just waiting to be switched.
You just have to click breakout room at the bottom, and it should say like join room.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thanks.
Whoop. Cat's back. Cat, did you get kicked out of your room? You're on mute.
No, but the audio on my laptop wasn't working, so I'm trying to get on my desktop now. I was in group 4.
Ta-da!
All right, and then there were 3. Elisa, thank you so much. You are such a lifesaver.
You're welcome. I'm just happy to help out.
And help you did. I would say you rescued saved the day. That was super helpful. Thank you.
And nobody stays cooler. You notice that?
Yes, very calm, cool, and collected under pressure. You're a rock star. Nice to meet you, by the way, or see you again. This is really great. Thank you for the support and for everything that you did to save the day here today. So what do we need to do differently tomorrow? The upload didn't work, I guess, right, of the room selections?
Yeah, you know what? It only allows you to upload pre-assign up to 200 names. And
okay.
Since I had 281 on my database, even though we only had 190 or something here today,
right.
I have no idea who of my 281 were here today and not here. You know what I'm saying? Without going through and doing a check off attendance list.
I gotcha.
So
I wonder if there's an upgrade we can do to let you pre-assign more than 200. I'll contact Zoom and see if we can. They'll tell us something.
I looked at that yesterday. I looked through all the plans and the price, and I couldn't find that.
Okay.
I watched a tutorial video on it as well, and it said you could only you could pre-assign up to 200. But I didn't know that it wasn't going to work, that they could all just pick their own rooms. That's what I thought was going to happen this morning.
Yeah, the other option is if it lets you have 2 separate Zoom meetings. So then you break off half of them into the first meeting and divide them from there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like groups 1 through 8 on one Zoom meeting and 9 through, yeah.
Oh, there you go.
I don't know. I've never done 2 Zoom meetings at the same time on the same account.
You'd send everybody 2 links, I guess, right? You'd send everybody the link for the plenary session, and then here's your breakout rooms link. They'd join the other meeting, and you'd initiate the breakout rooms from. So you'd be the host of 3 meetings. You'd have the plenary with everybody in it, and then you'd have 2 meetings with the breakout rooms assigned into the other 2, right?
Yeah, but go ahead.
Well, I was going to say you'd have to have a separate account because it's not going to let you have two Zoom meetings on the same account. You'd have to have 2 different people logged in.
Right.
So.
Okay. Yeah, but you and I could do that theoretically, Keith, I think. All right, we got a couple other maybe reassignments here. Oh, maybe not. Kathy?
She's on it. She's on it.
Oh, there we go. Sweet.
Yeah, what was I going to say? Oh, I could have told you for all of the live events that I've done, we're only 50 to 55% attendance live.
Yep.
So you have 300 people register and about 150 people attend any one given block.
That sounds right.
Yeah, but you guys, I think you did better than that today. I would guess you had 65% attendance, which is great.
Yeah, I saw it up in the high 180s, Keith. What was the total registrations? Those 2
Yeah,
something?
it got to the high 188, 189.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But, some people, I was getting this morning and late last night, people saying all of a sudden they got double booked and can't attend, and or they couldn't attend one day and they were really sorry. And I've said, don't worry about it. I said, you're welcome to come in and out whenever you like. If you can't make a day, and they were so thankful. They didn't know they could do that. So, all right. Did you just make me the host?
I did. Yep. I'm going to go run to my meeting, but thank you guys.
Lisa, thank you. You're the greatest. Really appreciate your help.
time. Just give Mike Campice an email and tell him how awesome.
You bet. I'm writing it now. Mike and I know each other very well. I really appreciate your help. I'll be sure to thank you with him in the CC. Thank you very much, Elisa. Very, very much appreciated.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, sweet. Hey, I thought the plenary session went great, Keith. That was very smooth and I think super valuable. Everybody, let me say this. I think the number one thing that you should be happy about is you saw the number of participants climb, not decline. I think if people got in and they were like, what is this? You would have seen that number of participants drop off, but you stayed steady into the 170s, 180s throughout, which I think means, I think that's a vote of confidence from the audience.
Yeah.
I
just don't know. I don't know how I'm going to do, because I can't with the Zeswitz account create two different meetings at the same time.
Yeah, but you and I can. You can create one and I can create one, right?
Oh, yeah.
I think we need 3 hosts. I think that's going to be the key. So I think I think what you do is you tell everybody, here's your Zoom link for tomorrow's plenary session. Click here, and then that's just a straight up Zoom room with no breakout rooms.
Well,
right?
that's already set up. It's the recurring meeting from today. It's the exact same link and password for the next 3 days.
Okay, cool. So then I think what we need to do then is to create 2 more with the breakout rooms pre-assigned.
Yeah. And I'll have to actually close the meeting, before we do the breakout rooms, so that meeting's not running. Right? The first hour is one meeting. Then we'll tell everybody we're going to close this meeting.
Right.
Everybody now join the next meeting, which would.
So they go back to their email. They click on their link, and there's 2 different links depending on who they are.
Yeah, I'll put breakout rooms 1 through 8.
Yes.
With your link, and then 10 through whatever, 9 through 16 with my meeting link.
And then are you thinking, now this is a meeting agenda question, are you going to come back together tomorrow after the breakouts?
That was the idea, but it could be as simple as them just clicking back on the original meeting link.
And they click back on the original meeting. So then the schedule is they start at 10 a.m. in the original meeting. It's whenever you say, okay, everybody, now we're going to end this meeting. Click on your next link. They click on the next link, and then you tell them at 11:45, we're going to come back together on the main link. So go back to the main link and click it again.
Right. And I'll just have to quickly close the meeting and start the next meeting in order for people to start joining. Yeah.
That sounds right.
Yeah,
the only thing, I got a private chat from one of our clients at Upper Darby who apparently does a lot of, she did like a really big Zoom thing for the Upper Darby. They had some kind of a music camp that they did a big Zoom thing for, and she offered to help. Maybe we bounce this off of her as an idea. But I think that sounds right. And as long as you have enough hosts, you're good. Like as long as you have one other person, if it's me or if it's one of the other guys helping out tomorrow, you'll have enough hosts, right?
Are you able to do that?
Yeah, I think so. Oh, tomorrow.
It would be 11 o'clock then, 11 to 12 basically, to have that other room open.
I have Mike Arena scheduled me for something tomorrow. We should probably not make it me. Let me see if Andy can cover that. He's pretty tech savvy. Yeah, because if I'm supposed to be with Ridley, I just don't want to be trying to juggle 2 different things.
Yeah,
and if
yeah,
somebody,
right.
So then
Andy would have the other meeting.
So Andy will host the other meeting with you. Let's do that. I'll call Andy and fill him in. So let me think. Can you set up the meetings and pre-assign the breakout rooms without, and then make Andy the host somehow? Do you think? Wonder if that'll work. Or else you're gonna have to teach Andy.
Let me try. Let me try it.
Okay.
I'll deal with it once this all ends.
Yeah. No, I think it's good. I was in my breakout room for just a couple of minutes and everybody was, trying to introduce each other and, doing all that stuff. So I think it's happening. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm just scanning all the breakout rooms and it looks like we have approximately 13 to 15 in almost every room. So it's like, it's perfectly distributed, people are doing what, I was afraid people were just going to like join any room they wanted and not the one I
suggested, but
So that would be the other thing, Keith. Can we, I mean, for tomorrow, then they all know their room number now. Can we make it? I've not done the breakout. I'm very limited experience with Zoom breakout rooms. Can we just open all the breakout rooms and let them join whichever one they want? That was your original vision for this.
no,
It doesn't work.
it doesn't allow them to do that.
Okay.
You can either automatically assign because you've previously uploaded a spreadsheet, or the other option is manually assign them. So that's what Elisa did. She manually assigned 190 people.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have to do that tomorrow. Okay. All right. I think we're in. I think that's going to be the best way to do this then. And if it's not, well, I guess we'll learn tomorrow. But why don't we plan that Andy's going to be with you? He'll host the other set of breakout rooms.
Here's the other thing that because we're going to split the two meetings, then we can definitely pre-assign by uploading the database.
Right.
Those in rooms 1 through 8, and then so I can do that. I'll just split the spreadsheet, make 2 different spreadsheets, and upload them to the 2 new meetings that I'll assign.
Yeah, and we just need somebody else from Zeswitz. So you're going to host one of the meetings. We need somebody else to be logged into Zoom to host the other one.
Yeah.
Is that the idea? Yeah. That sounds right.
All right, that should work.
Cool.
Thanks, Randy.
Well, hey, if that's the worst thing that happens, I feel like we're off to a hell of a start. Well, and again, I mean, I think people vote with their feet. So if you see, like, when you come back together, if you see a significant drop off in the number of people, I guess that means, we lost some folks, but I don't think so. If you're seeing, a dozen or so people in all your breakout rooms, you still got everybody. Everybody's still rocking along.
Yeah, I think the other thing is because we're missing like over 100 people, it's they're not going to have any idea that this kind of thing went on. So I just an email to everybody, thanking them for their patience today and assigning. I think we have a solution for tomorrow. This is what it is. Just make it really clear and simple. And I'll send it a couple different times, including again tomorrow morning. I think that'll do.
Sounds good.
All right.
Cool. All right. I'm going to drop out, Keith. Right. Way to go.
Thank you.
See you soon.
I think it's just us. Oh no, Keith is there. There we go. It's room 16 plus Keith.
Welcome back, guys. I just did a 60-second close the rooms for everybody.
Oh, no, because we're orchestra people. We like to be on time, you know?
Good discussion, everybody.
I think so, yeah.
Thanks for being patient with everything.
All right, I got to head out because my son has ESY. So thanks, Keith.
Okay.
See you guys tomorrow.
Better to work out the glitches now than have to deal with it when we're trying to teach students. Is what I feel. I'm going to try to test everything I can now so that when the time comes, you know.
All right. 10 seconds. All rooms will be closed.
Oh wow, the numbers are jumping.
Yeah.
We're back.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Oh, let me close my door. My wife's on the call in the other room, and I just got feedback when I had my door open. Listen, I first of all, I want to thank everybody for their patience before. You can see how calm, cool, and collected Elise was at troubleshooting for us and getting it done. And I think I've got the plan for the rest of the week, which I'll tell you about in a moment. Hope you had some good discussions. We'll go real quick. If you could just have one person in each group tell us what your best idea was, and we'll start with room 1. Somebody from room 1?
Okay, it's probably me. I was quasi running things over there. Can you believe that, Mr. Hudson? There's a lot of people in my room, so we met each other. We all it seems like we teach in the similar situation, which is good. We chatted a little bit about, does everybody have a platform? And that was good to find out people do. And then we started to delve into the practice, keeping students motivated through practice. So we've got 2 ideas, and they're probably things that that everyone is using, but someone said they're making practice videos for their beginners. We're the beginner group, by the way, which is great. And I also shared that I use Smart Music in March on with the free. I'm looking into Smart Music. Again, I have a call into them this week to see if we can get the $10 option rather than the $40 option for students if it's student funded. So I will share that with everybody when I know, unless somebody else knows the answer to that. That's where we are.
Great. Let's go on to group 2. Thanks, Karen. Somebody from group 2?
I guess I'll speak. Jose, you got it. Thanks.
No, you got it, Dave. Go ahead, Dave. Knock yourself out.
All right. So we eventually started just discussing the available platforms that are going to be implemented in the fall and what kind of instructional situations are going to exist. And we essentially established that we don't know anything, but we are, our districts are kind of going back and around. In terms of a clever idea or some of the best solutions we came up with, I mean, Jose had done a lot of research in available online platforms and software that would be available for students, and his district is able to provide him with some funding for a Smart Music alternative, since Smart Music is very...
Okay. Not sure if we lost him or not. Let's move on to group 3. Somebody from group 3?
Into a more technique and developmental individual attention based, would be are kind of focused in using an available online platform that'll cater to that more than smart music.
Okay, how about room 3? All right, we'll come back.
Okay, I'll talk. I'll
Go ahead.
talk from room 3. Hi. We were actually just talking quite a bit about sharing music and kind of ways that we can have the students share their music with each other so they feel more connected to other people. So we had somebody who had kind of played a Simon game, like that old game from back in the 80s, with basically calling a friend. And then we talked quite a bit about how we're assessing students. So Flipgrid, and then different websites that the students can use to just practice theory and things like that on their own while we were in class together.
Thanks, Lori. How about group 4?
Right here, we took some time to introduce ourselves, where we're from, and we talked about what our situation is going to look like in the fall, whether it's going to be virtual or hybrid or in person, what we're hoping for, as well as the learning platforms, Canvas, Google Classroom, Schoology. And then we talked about using Flipgrid as a way to encourage kids to practice, as well as creating little concerts kind of for us at the end of the spring, when we're getting close to end of the school year. All the kids would have just like a little concert on their Google Meets or Zoom, and that would kind of keep the kids motivated. And again, each kid would do it based on their ability level.
Thanks, Catherine. How about group 5?
Okay, I can speak. We did some introductions, and most of us are very beginner teachers. And one of the final ideas that we had was about kind of doing a dual recruitment. So continuing with our beginnings or our returning students in the fall, and then as schools reopen, or depending on how much close interaction we can have with our kids, maybe doing a recruitment later in the year, January or something like that, so that we can really get going with beginners in person. So.
All right, group 6.
We were also a beginner band group, and the thing that we some of us in our group aren't even sure how we're going to be teaching yet. Our district hasn't rolled that out yet, so there's still a lot up in the air. But we were mainly focusing on just the very beginning band, and whether we should be delaying recruitment until we're in person or just limiting the number of options of instruments that kids can start on. So that's basically about as far as we got.
Great. Group 7.
Hi. So our group is high school, by the way. We kind of agreed that the best thing for the students, a lot of us agreed that the best thing for the students is finding out what the students actually like and what they're really into. So I know my students were into video games, pop music, and someone mentioned music for musicals, or this is a really great time to choose new and different rep that might be relevant to today's social climate. And if you guys are on the band director page on Facebook, someone has a list of all those things of all female, women plus composers, LGBT composers, any of those. So this is a really good time to try to create something for those kids. I know in my case too, a lot of my kids were really into this video, because they're all playing video games during the quarantine. They were all arranging video game music that they really like for their instrument, using either MuseScore or NoteFlight, and they were sharing it with each other, and they were sharing it with me, and then they would actually perform it and try to play it. And this is a really great way for the students to perform something work on music that has different key signatures, something they can actually connect to. And a lot of my kids really grasped onto that more than our actual concert band music when we were in quarantine, because it was something that it was easy for them to achieve, and they didn't have to worry about making sure that it worked for someone else. It was really for them.
Thanks, Sean. Group 8. Somebody from group 8? Okay, we'll come back to 8. Group 9. Somebody from Group 9. Group 9.
I can talk for Group 9.
Oh, great. Thanks, Brian.
No problem. We basically just kind of introduced ourselves, talked about what worked for us in the spring, what didn't, and we started talking about some different, we mostly talked about cultural things that we did, like music appreciation, trying to continue that sense of community that we had before we were under quarantine, and trying to continue that, since that's really kind of what the students connect with most. And then we just started, before we ended, talking about smart music and different music technologies like that to engage the students.
Great. Thanks, Brian. Group 10. Group 10.
I can share. So Kristen shared a really great idea with Flipgrid, where the students had every other week to choose music from smart music under a specific theme. And then they had to create a recording to share for others to leave positive comments. And the ones that felt uncomfortable sharing with the full group just recorded and submitted those through Google Classroom. It was a great way for the students to engage with each other in a positive way, with the framing of only positive comments.
Thanks, Megan. Group 11.
We talked in Group 11 about the fact that, especially in middle school, a lot of our kids aren't in band because they're really into music. They're in band because they want to be a part of something with their friends, and how that was such a big component in how many of them dropped off this spring because it wasn't what they were there for, and how we can create that socialization aspect and that community aspect of it even through virtual learning.
Thanks, Sarah. Group 12. Group 12.
All right, I'll jump in. Thanks. Like everyone else, we figured out where everybody was from, what they thought they were going to be expecting to do, at least in this point in time when we get back in September. A couple of ideas were floated around. One had to do with utilizing high school students wherever we can to be in on meetings like this and maybe meet with our kids and play along with them. That I think was one everyone was talking about a lot as well. So,
thanks, Dave. Great to see you. Thanks for
you as well, Keith.
Group 13.
I'll jump in for 13, Keith. Sorry about that. Hi.
Hi, Adam.
We're kind of everybody did. I'll make ours real short. And good to see you, man. Short and sweet. And shout out to Gerard on this one. Said when he was teaching his kids, he basically would play along, their cameras on, because he said, a lot of mistakes you can see clarinet, the difference between that F sharp and F natural. You can just see it right there when you're looking. I thought that was just a great little put in the bag, something to use for virtual. So those kind of small things are right on. We also had all the other sort of larger discussions that everyone else had. So thanks.
Thanks,
I
Adam.
can speak for Group 8 to finish off the band part.
Sure, Jesse.
Where are you going? Sorry, that mic wasn't working before. So we introduced ourselves, and at the high school band level, we were talking about how are we going to perform, and then we really got into a heavy conversation about technology, and then how to keep Tony, the third clarinet player, in band and keeping the programs alive, especially after the elementary schools and the middle schools, like so important, do all this hard work to teach these kids, and they're going to come up to high school this year and say, I don't want to do it. So I think student engagement and program building, holding it together.
Great. Thanks, Jesse. Where were we? 13 or 14?
14.
14? Hi, Kathleen.
Yes. Hi. We were an elementary and beginning strings group. We did intros. We discussed what worked and what didn't, and we were crisis schooling in the spring. We talked mostly about some recruitment techniques and some challenges. And we also discussed the first focus question about keeping students motivated. We discussed some techniques like using string karate, which is similar to the beloved recorder karate. Flipgrid, very popular, video lessons, Google Forms for keeping accountability, Google Classroom, and stuff like that.
Thank you, Kathleen. Great. Group 15.
I guess I'll talk since I was the note taker and I have the sheet.
We were a high school group, and we had people from Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Pennsylvania, and I also think Ohio. I've missed that. And one person was elementary, middle school, and high school. The rest of us were high school orchestra. We created our personal group Google Sheet. We talked about creating breakout rooms that functioned as social cohorts and musical cohorts, with both being important, and how the teacher can ensure that all students have a place. We talked about using literature for chamber groups, and we also had an idea on the table for virtual and face-to-face coffee house style performances. And we talked about using smart music and music first, including practice first and sight reading factory. All of these things that we talked about can motivate students to practice and perform in both virtual and face-to-face venues. And I put all that in the comments.
Thank you, Joyce. And lastly, group 16. Group 16?
I can jump in for 16.
Thanks Mark.
So we actually forgot to introduce ourselves. So number one for tomorrow is we'll introduce ourselves. We kind of just jumped right in. We were kind of sharing a lot of information about what we did in the spring, what worked for us. We kind of made a loose game plan for tomorrow for everybody to kind of bring something that worked for them. We'll kind of do a show and tell of, somebody who used smart music or somebody who used Flipgrid or whatever it might be. And yeah, we just kind of talked shop a lot of kind of what goals and questions we had. Talked about a little bit about sanitizing instruments, because a lot of string programs share instruments or loan out instruments. So good conversation overall.
Thanks, Mark. I like the show and tell idea for tomorrow. I think all groups should do that. All right, just a little bit. Here's what we're going to do to fix up my issues with these breakout groups. The link to the meeting for all 4 days, which is the same, will remain for our first hour. I'm going to send everybody an email this afternoon to outline what it is we're going to do. And then at 11, when we go to the breakouts, I'm actually going to close this meeting, and you guys will have 2 links. Either group 1 through 8 will be one link, and groups 9 through 16 will be another link. All right, that will break down, because I'm going to pre-assign you. So I'm going to literally upload a database of your emails, and it's going to be from the emails that you registered for this with into the breakout rooms automatically for tomorrow. So you're actually going to then leave this meeting, enter a new meeting, and then at the end, we'll close those 2 meetings, and you can go back to the original meeting, click on the original link for today's meeting, and that'll bring us all back together again where we can report out. All right, I think that should work. Keep in mind that you guys have folders, access to folders that you can upload documents, kind of like the show and tell Mark was just talking about. If you want to put documents of things that worked for you in the spring and put them into your, preload them into your Google Drive for folder for your group, then it'll be at everybody's fingertips. Any questions or thoughts or suggestions?
Hey, Keith, just as a thing, I put a link in the chat. I just got an email during this that Smart Music's doing a free webinar on Wednesday. If anybody's interested in doing that, I know I didn't get to use it in the spring, but I'm looking to use it in the fall. So if anybody wanted to check that out, I posted the link in the comments.
Thanks, Stephen. Good to see you, bud. All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us today. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks. Bye.